Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Imana Amawe. Coming up on the program today, Desiani Alison Madueke loses her bid to defend money laundering charges in Nigeria. Open grazing ban officially takes off in Benue State. And the Edo State government seeks return of lost bronze artifacts from the Benin Kingdom. Welcome to the program that brings you news from across the states of Nigeria. The former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Desiani Alison Madueke, has lost her bid to legally return to the country to defend a money laundering charge. A federal high court sitting in Lagos today dismissed Mrs. Alison Madueke's application, seeking to compel the Attorney General of the Federation to bring her back over criminal charges bordering on alleged laundering of 450 million naira. In his ruling, Justice Rilwan Aikawa agreed with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission that the application is misconceived and amounts to a misuse of the court process. The court also held that having not been listed as a defendant in the charge, the former minister faces no offense and is merely crying wolf. Justice Aikawa described her application as merely a ploy to escape justice in the United Kingdom. He therefore dismissed Mrs. Alison Madueke's application for lacking merit, and the court has proceeded with the trial. The former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, has been brought before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Colonel Dasuki is being produced in court by the Department of State Services as a witness in the trial of former PDP National Publicity Secretary, Olisa Metu. However, his taking the stand depends on whether the court rules in favor of or against his motion seeking for a stay of proceedings pending his appeal before the appellate court. His grounds of appeal are that he has been detained in excess of 2 years. The federal government has, however, opposed the application of stay of proceedings. Justice Okonabang of the Federal High Court had on Monday subpoenaed the DSS to produce Mr. Dasuki in court after Mr. Metu's lawyer asked the judge to order the arrest of the security agency's Director General. And the law prohibiting open rearing of animals in Benue State comes into effect today. In a state broadcast to enforce the law, Governor Samuel Otom appealed to farmers and herdsmen to comply with it, as there would be no sacred cows. The open grazing prohibition law states that herders who run fowl will have their animals taken away.
Open grazing of animals, especially cattle, has been a major cause of violent conflicts between invading herdsmen and farmers across the country, with staggering statistics of avoidable deaths. In Benue State, over 3,000 farmers were allegedly killed by herdsmen, along with the destruction of property worth over 100 billion naira across 13 out of the 23 local councils. The last straw that broke the camel's back was the February 2016 8-week-long herdsmen attacks beginning from Agatu and spreading to Logo and Taka local councils. The outrage generated by these attacks compelled the Benue State government to seek a lasting solution in the form of the open grazing law signed by Governor Samuel Otom in May 2017, giving a 5-month grace period for herders to ranch their animals.
Today, 1st November 2017, marks the beginning of the prohibition of open grazing in Benue State. I call on all citizens residing in Benue State who are into cattle or livestock business to abide by this law. There is no more open grazing in Benue State.
With the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association finally embracing the law, thousands of Benue indigents held press conferences and a rally indicating that things are looking good for the implementation of the law.
We totally stand up with the provision of Section 41 of the 1999 Constitution that give room for a defensive legislation that can guarantee public safety. Based on this provision, we are saying no to open grazing. We are saying no to cattle route, but ranching of cattle.
The church has suffered enough. Many of our congregations have been destroyed by the Fulani herdsmen. And when they destroyed, they pushed the people out of the place. We suffered enough. When this law came, we are happy.
The bill, if implemented, it's believed will put paid to issues of farmers and herders skirmish, which often leads to wanton destruction of lives and property.
The Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law banning open grazing in the state is aimed at restoring peace to the troubled Benue Valley while keeping an eye on the threats made by a splinter group, the Mieti Allah Kautahore leadership.
Well, let's get more on the anti-grazing law from the Special Advisor, Media and ICT to the Benue State Governor, Tahav Agezwa. Thank you for joining us on the program, Mr. Agezwa. Well, the ban on open grazing law, the open grazing law takes effect today. Does this mean members of the task force have already been deployed and they're about their business?
Yes. For the people of the state, like the psalmist said, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. The people have looked forward to this day when they believe this law will come into effect and free them from shackles of devastating attacks and the enormous destruction that has accompanied this all over the years. The state government has put in place a machinery to enforce this law by recruiting livestock guards, by engaging by inaugurating the advisory committees at all levels at the state, the local government, and the world levels, even up to the kindred level. These committees are in place. The security agencies have been mobilized, and the advocacy has been done. So the state government is ready to begin the enforcement of this law today.
Guess what? Does the state have enough manpower in the enforcement task force to cover the entire, all the flashpoints, or are there specific areas being targeted?
And the advisory committees and the livestock guards are being deployed across the state. The state will be relying on the conventional security apparatus of state, as well as the civilian joint task force, the vigilante group, and volunteers to enforce the law. I can't say specifically that we have enough, but as the enforcement progresses, we will be monitoring and be responding to the challenges as the law comes into effect. But let me assure Nigerians that the state government is prepared. We are ready to implement the law to the latter. The people desire this. They've been suffering for long. They've yearned for it. With their support and the support of Nigerians and the international community to ensure this best practice, we believe that we shall succeed in this endeavor.
The law has actually seen a lot of support across board from different quarters, but some residents have also raised concerns about violence from the herders who are opposed to this law. What's in place to ensure adequate security of lives and property of the residents?
Like I mentioned to you, the security agencies have been fully mobilized to stand by. There are livestock guards, there are civilian joint task forces, there are vigilante groups, there are measures to make sure that, just like measures we are taking to contain the violence that erupted in the past, measures are being taken to prevent and to forestall the violence that may spark off following the implementation of the law.
Mr. Tahav Agezwa, Special Advisor, Media and ICT to the Benue State Governor, for your time on the program. Well, we'll take a moment on the program now. When we come back, we'll look into some other security stories across the country.